Thank you very much. It's really hard to make any sensible remarks after listening to what Muringa had to tell us. I have participated in 3 events in the past few weeks. We have had discussions to reflect on this tragedy. And I'm being honest, I have participated in the 30 remembrance events, but I never ever get used to this, because the stories we hear from different survivors are different and are shocking. But let me begin by acknowledging friends who have joined us today. Your Excellency, Ambassador Wupeng, the representative of the government of People's Republic of China, my brother Siddharth Chatterjee, United Nations Resident Coordinator in China, Ambassador Osman Hamtura, my brother, the permanent representative of African Union in China, Excellencies, ambassadors, heads of international organizations, Rwandans, friends, I want to say good afternoon and acknowledge that this has been a massive, massive participation, and it's so comforting to see all of you on Sunday afternoon. Let me begin by thanking you all for taking your time to join us on this 30th commemoration of the genocide against the Tutsi that was committed in 1994. On behalf of the government of Rwanda, the embassy, and on my own behalf, I most sincerely wish to express our profound appreciation for the solidarity and support as we gather here today to remember and honor the victims, almost 1 million Tutsi who were brutally killed in despicable crime of genocide. I should correct this. It's actually more than 1 million people who were killed. The horrendous atrocities in the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi were meticulously planned and executed by the genocidal government. And we all know that the genocide is neither an accident or a coincidence, but rather a long-term extermination plan. It doesn't happen overnight. For those of you who have seen the pictures in the exhibition, it has to be planned. It is not spontaneous. It has stages. And the signals are there showing that it's going to happen for everyone to see. Excellencies, for those who are unfamiliar with the history of Rwanda, the seeds of hate and divisionism were sowed during the colonial time, where the divide and rule policy was practiced through issuance of ethnic identity cards based on constructed identities. I believe you are all able to see the first picture in the gallery of a man whose nose was being measured. Constructed because classification was merely based on measuring physical features, describing each person as Hutu, Tutsi or Twa, while in actual fact, what was there in Rwanda were simply social classes, because Rwandans are one people. They speak the same language, same tradition. They practice same traditions. But these divisive politics gradually entrenched hate and divisions within the Rwandan society that then much later culminated into the genocide. They went through horrible and agonizing ordeal of seeing family members hunted down and killed in front of their eyes. That's the story of Mlinga, when his mother was raped and sharp objects pushed in her private parts. Perpetrators had no an iota of mercy. They slaughtered people like chickens. They banged babies against solid objects. They did all manner of callous things without sparing anyone, young, elderly, disabled, even pregnant women. And those of you who come from the countries that have gone through such things, you understand why a baby who is still in his or her mother's womb will be killed. That's the whole essence, the intent to wipe out. But in the process, anyone who opposed, including the Hutu, who opposed or hid the Tutsis for their survival, were equally murdered. Dead bodies, as you saw in the video and the pictures, were lying in cold blood all over the streets, in pits, in schools, in churches, literally everywhere. It's like hell fell on Rwanda. The scale and magnitude of the killings were staggering. Over 1 million people were brutally murdered in 100 days. It is actually estimated that 10,000 people were slaughtered every single day. Excellencies, dear friends, I strongly believe that many of you are still unable and struggling to comprehend this degree of madness, the deprivation, and devastation. But you can agree that this unspeakable horror mirrors the disastrous failure of humanity. What is more troubling, though, is that this insanity was avoidable. The killers were mostly armed with rudimentary weapons, poorly trained, which would not have posed tough resistance to any intervention. They could have been deterred from causing mayhem of such unimaginable magnitude. The Canadian General Romeo Dallaire, who was stationed in Rwanda at that time as the force commander, gives us a unique account of what happened. Because in the months leading to the actual killings, to the genocide, The general had received overwhelming information of the genocide that was being plotted to exterminate and kill all the Tutsis. He then appealed to his bosses in New York, to the United Nations, and because he's a general and influential, he also reached out to other capitals, seeking a simple thing. As I said earlier, rudimentary weapons, not trained, disorganized, but going around killing people. What he was asking is reinforcement. Give me more troops and more weapons. Then we will stop this madness. What was the response? Refusal. Total refusal. Few countries, like Czech Republic, New Zealand, Nigeria, tried to persuade the rest of the countries. Nobody cared. And remember, the general was sending the information back in January 1994 before the actual killings started on 7th of April. What is inexcusable or difficult to understand is when he was told to withdraw even the few troops he had, around 2,500, and he was instructed to keep 250 just to undertake one exclusive operation to evacuate the foreigners, leaving the victims at the mercy of their killers. But out of bravery, we have good stories. The Ghanaian general, General Henry Kwame Anyidoho, who was the deputy force commander, deputy to Romeo Dere, ignored that I was not going to leave these people in the hands of the militias. Well, of course, he was overwhelmed, but he managed to save the few. Captain Mbaye Diane from Senegal, who is highly recognized in Rwanda, also defied the order to withdraw, and instead he decided to undertake life-saving operations, and in the process, he was killed. These African heroes demonstrated that it was indeed possible to save lives had the United Nations been supported to reinforce its contingent that was stationed in Rwanda. But of course, when the whole world looked the other way, brave men and women of Rwanda Patriotic Army, led by our president, marched through thick and thin, selflessly, to bring to an end the carnage. And we pay tribute to the fallen heroes who paid the ultimate price to bring to an end the killings. The compelling story, full of shocking details we heard from the survivor, gives us a heartbreaking account of the kind of agony many survivors went through. They lost family members, friends, relatives, and everything dear to them. But in the words of our president, His Excellency Paul Kagame, and I quote, "You may have lost your loved ones, but there is one family you did not lose, your country. The nation of Rwanda is a family to all survivors and all Rwandans." Muringa, all the survivors, your resilience and bravery embody the triumph of the Rwandan character in its purest form. Despite this strategy, ladies and gentlemen, we stand as a country, as a testament to the strength of human spirit and resilience. Our past has profoundly, this terrible past, has profoundly shaped and defined our future. We are a nation transformed and focused on development, opportunity, and a future where the words never again really, truly hold a meaning. We cannot allow ourselves to turn back. The ideals and values that Rwandans of today cherish are built on the long history of unity, which is a bedrock of who we are today and who we are determined to be tomorrow. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, let me call upon the international community and all leaders present today to help Rwanda and help the whole world with one important thing. Like in the message of the Secretary General of the United Nations, the African Union. As we commemorate today, it is so sad, very unfortunate, to see the world where people are allowed to spread hate, to deny the genocide, and spread the genocide ideology. We have so many examples, ladies and gentlemen. If this tragedy has not taught us any lesson, because as I said earlier, it all begins with the hate and divisions and discrimination of all sorts, and when you let it go like that, it's left unchecked, what you get is what we had in 1994. Now, today as I speak, many of you know that even in our own continent, in our backyard, people are still pronouncing themselves, the military, the leaders, all their citizens, that they are going to wipe out a section of population because of who over there. And to bear with me, I'll give you an example in our region. Rwanda was not involved in demarcating the borders of our countries. We have people who live in Congo who happen to be speaking Kinyarwanda, and they are like us. They have even family members across the border. We never created that border. But today, those who committed the genocide in Rwanda crossed over to Congo, have lived there for more than 30 years now, still harboring the same ideology. They kill people, they rape, they kill animals. The other day, last year, 2023, we saw a person being eaten by a fellow human being. Yet we sit here, next time we come to commemorate for 30 years, we'll be talking about the same things. What are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? I know we have very accomplished, highly accomplished individuals representing different countries and organizations. We need to deal with the issue of hate speech, genocide ideology, and denial of genocide. Number two, request. If we let impunity to continue, if someone kills 10 people and he walks away with it, where is the United Nations Convention to punish the crime of genocide and prevent it? Where are other instruments like Resolution 2150 of the United Nations Security Council requiring all nations to bring the perpetrators to book? They are there, they are known. Let's work together. If indeed we have to send a signal to people who are contemplating to commit another genocide, let's say no. Whatever political reasons, let's not allow people to proclaim, to pronounce that they are going to exterminate other people. Excellencies, I would want to just end my remarks by, from the bottom of my heart, to thank you all. Because this journey of 30 years, one of the examples is what Mulinga told us after his terrible story of how he ended up doing PhD in China. Ambassador Upang, these are some of the students who receive scholarships to study in China through China Scholarship Council. So rebuilding a country means working together to do better, but more importantly, destroying is very easy. Let's not allow denial, hate, and actual killings to happen when we are watching. We don't need Romeo Dallaire to tell us. Social media is telling us. We are seeing people dying because of where they are. And so, this terrible past of Rwanda should remain as a constant reminder to all of us to fight anything that is closer or bringing us closer to what happened in Rwanda. And I want to end by thanking Mulinga once again, thanking all of you and your countries for the support you continue to provide. I thank our children who presented a very powerful poem. I thank our friend Carl. I think what he didn't say in his testimony, I know Carl because I served in the US before coming to China. The decision was made that the wife and children go to Nairobi and he stays behind. So he saw everything that was happening, and I think we gave him a very short time for his testimony. So thank you very much. Once again, it's really so comforting for us as Rwandans to see all these friends from many different countries. More than 60 countries are represented here. We want to thank you so very much. And may we remember why you remain united and renew our lives. I thank you for your attention, and may God bless you.